Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to SteamFlow. Today we're taking a look at No Man's Sky's latest update that's called Voyagers, and it has a ton of new features. Mainly, you can now build a custom starship piece by piece, and you can walk around in it. It's a huge ship, it's called the Corvette, which is pretty sick. But there's also been a ton of performance updates, rendering enhancements, changes to transparency and lighting, a lot of visual polish and effects, as well as changes to multi-threading rendering, other system optimizations. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at all that on the Steam Deck. This is going to be a live commentary, and I'm just going to go through the game and try and explore what's new. Okay, by default, I have it on high preset. We are going to set that to standard, and we're going to go through all of the presets. I'm going to hit apply here real quick. We are going to have to restart. It doesn't seem like we're going to be able to test the new Intel XCSS. We can only go through all of these and FSR2. So there's going to be no change in terms of the upscalers for the Steam Deck, but we're going to go through that. Maybe I can do a test with lossless scaling as well. But for now, we are going to go on the standard preset. I'm going to do a quick reset and we're going to be back. Okay, I'm just straight going to jump into my last game. It's been a while since I played No Man's Sky. I usually tend to just play a little bit after an update comes out, and I never amount to anything because it's just a very grindy game and there's a ton of things to do in it. You just have to really decide you want to play it. Last time we looked at it, I think on the standard or the lowest preset, we were getting close to 60 FPS on the OLED. So I'm expecting pretty much the same here. Now, one of the biggest changes in this update is change to multi-threaded rendering. So this update introduces multi-threaded rendering, which should significantly improve CPU performance, but I think it's most notably done in VR environments. It seems like we're locked to 45 FPS right now. Oh yeah, max FPS 45. Let's actually push that up. And we are going to be locked to 60, mainly because I'm just recording this with my capture card, which doesn't allow me to capture it above 60, but it should be running above 60 on the OLED. Okay, so lowest settings, we are running at 60 with some stuttering when I'm looking around. I do think there's some enhanced rendering and lighting of some of the in-game items like the multi-tool or specifically the jetpack, maybe. I'm not sure. There's not going to be a direct comparison. It looks pretty good. But let's see if we can go into first-person mode. It is dropping to 58, 59. It's quickly going back up, so it's not exactly locked, but the actual frame time is pretty stable. Actually, what we can do is get some more. Frame time is pretty good, 16.7 ms. We're pretty much on 60 FPS here. This is pretty good. First person mode. In terms of battery life on the OLED, on these standard settings, we're looking at around 3 hours and 30 minutes. It's probably going to settle at around 3 hours and 30 minutes. Depending on what you do and where you are, it might be a little bit more, a little bit less. So we're just going to say 3 hours and 30 minutes, even though it says 3 hours and 45 right now. Let's go back to third person mode. Doesn't seem to be. Oh, well, there is a bit of a bump here in the TDP. So battery life is probably going to go down. In third person mode, we are expecting to see. Like, yeah, that does seem like there's been a difference in how the actual laser works, but I'm not really sure. Either way, in terms of FPS, this is looking very, very nice so far on the standard settings. Okay, I think we have enough here, and let me get that Starship launch view, and then we're gonna go back to the Starship. Kind of want to see what performance is like, maybe during the day as well as on a space station. I think the space station can be a little bit more intensive. But we are gonna go in here and we are gonna do a little fuel here. All right, let's go. And actually, then I do like this and switch to third person view. Okay. I really can't tell if there's been any difference to lighting. Probably has been, but it doesn't seem to be affecting performance, at least on the lowest settings. Now, what they've said they added is a transparency update. So I think it's called moment-based order independent transparency, which significantly improves the appearance of overlapping translucent structures. So if you have glass somewhere, you should be, if we can find a glass pane somewhere, something like that, we can try and see what that looks like. They also did some changes to lighting for better illumination of the player character in darker environments specifically. Something else, I think they also did some updates to glow effects. Like, this is actually looking pretty cool. I'm not sure if this space station used to look this cool, but now everything kind of has a glow to it. Actually looking pretty nice. Okay, let's see here. A lot of NPCs over here. Doesn't seem to be dropping FPS, even with a lot of stuff happening on screen. And let's see, this is a bit of a darker environment. This is what my character looks like. Looking pretty good. Is there an even darker spot that we can... Okay, so this is dark, and then we have some illumination here, partial global illumination. Actually looks pretty good. Again, this is not going to be a direct comparison. The changes might be very subtle. If you play this game a lot, you might not notice any visual changes. Even on a space station, it's still holding 60 FPS. Right. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to change the settings to the next preset, and we're going to go back into it. By the way, this whole test is going to be done with FSR set to balance. This is FSR 2. We're now using the enhanced preset. This is the next on the list, so still on the space station. And I just want to quickly walk around and see what that looks like. We're still holding 60 FPS. I think in terms of wattage, we are drawing about 2 or 3 watts more. So we've jumped to 20, 21. Now it actually keeps jumping up, 22. So it's definitely increased in power draw, and we can see that in terms of the actual battery life, we're quickly dropping to about 2.5 hours now using this enhanced preset, or what you would call it a medium preset. When I get to a point where 60 FPS is no longer feasible, I think maybe in the next preset, or high or ultra, I am also going to try and turn on lossless scaling to see what that looks like. I think in my lossless scaling video, No Man's Sky was one of the 50 games I previously tested. It should run pretty well. We do have high enough FPS for it to not feel like absolute shit in terms of input lag. But we are gonna test that as well. The actual landing part, there's gonna be some stutters. I saw we dropped to 29 there, 55, 56. So while it's loading the planet textures, oh, this is all water. See if we can land here. Right. So second preset, medium settings, we are mostly in the low 50s, so we are dropping FPS here. Can I go underwater here? I'm not sure. But definitely around 50 FPS here on medium settings. Can I get underwater? How does this work? Okay, we're underwater now. Still around 49, 50. When I turn around, it can drop to about 45 FPS. I think it used to run better previously, even on medium preset. So we can't really see much, but it is around 50 FPS. Actually, I think it's becoming a day right now. All right. Okay. Actually looking pretty good. This is my first time going underwater. Right, so in terms of actual performance, around 45 to 55. We can drop even to 40. Underwater, it seems to drop FPS actually a lot more. But it's still looking pretty nice. On medium settings, the textures are pretty good. Oh wow, what's going on here? That's some trippy stuff. But in terms of lighting underwater, it looks pretty good on my OLED screen right now. Okay, we're back now with the high preset. There seems to be a lot of depth of field here and blur happening, especially underwater. This was not something that was available with the previous one. If we go up, yeah, if I keep looking down, we're dropping to about 35, 32. And if we go up, we're looking at about 37, 40. This is actually looking like a really, really pretty planet. But all of these colors, it just means that it's very toxic. But right on the high preset, we are mostly looking at around 30 FPS. If I start moving fast here, is it gonna drop below 30? It doesn't seem like it's gonna drop below 30. But this is one option. Oh, 26. Yeah, it stutters a bit there when I move the camera fast. Actually looking really, really nice. Oh, what is this? I get some credits here. Man, this is looking like... what? Like a mix of at least 5 different animals. Anyway, high preset, mostly looking around 30. If you're gonna use high preset, you're probably best to lock the FPS at 30. In terms of battery life on the high preset, we're still looking at about 2 hours and 30 minutes. And TDP usage has gone to almost 24 watts. If I go back down, I go underwater, it is going to drop a little bit. But it doesn't drop below 30, which is pretty great. Actually, while I have you right here, let me do a lossless scaling check here with 2x lossless scaling. We are gonna use the lossless scaling decky plugin, and I'm just gonna go full scale 80 and then do 2x. So we're not gonna... oh yeah, it's gonna be about 60, but it is probably gonna drop. And in terms of actual... doesn't seem to be too much artifacting now. When I start moving, it is dropping below. I can see actually... oh yeah, you can see a lot of issues with my head. Look at my antennas. Like the head of my character, my backpack is seriously being artifacted right now. So yeah, there's gonna be an issue here. It's probably best word to use it on medium settings rather than on high. And it is probably going to look much better outside of the capture card when I'm just looking at the Steam Deck screen and when the FPS is not locked to 60. Right, let me turn lossless scaling back to off, and we are going to try the last preset here and see how much we can actually push this game. Alright, well, back at the Ultra preset, this is the highest possible preset, and we're definitely running below 30 FPS. It's going to take some time to load in some textures here, but this is definitely a little bit too much for the Steam Deck at this point. 24 above the water. Let's see what happens if we go underwater. This is some special ass water right here. Yep. Still around... oh, are we gonna drop below 20? Okay. Holding to just about... right, okay, so yeah, definitely Ultra preset is a little bit too much. Don't recommend playing it like that. So, now that this has been... oh, and look, it takes a lot of time to stream and to load this texture. Some of it is not even loading. Okay, so based on what I've seen, I am gonna try and come up with best settings. And we are gonna have an FPS cap of 45 here. And we're gonna do texture quality high, animation quality high, shadow quality, post-processing, volumetric effects. These are pretty heavy, so we're going to leave that at enhanced or medium. Terrain tessellation high. You can experiment with this. If you're doing a lot of flying and it's loading a lot of textures, it's probably best to put down to enhanced, because as we can see, it's not going to stay at lock 45. Planet quality, water quality, and enhanced, and base complexity, I would set that as standard, because as soon as you enter your base, you are going to start lagging a lot. Maybe if I jump around, move fast, it can drop 1-2 FPS. Let's see, let's mine this. Try and force it. Okay, so pretty steady at 45 FPS. Battery life is going up maybe around 3 hours, maybe just under 3 hours with these settings. And it's pretty much locked at 45 FPS. It looks pretty good. Where's my ship? Oh, yeah, right there. There will be some occasional stutters below 45, but this is medium and some high settings, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic here. In terms of actual temperature on the OLED, this is pretty reasonable, staying around 70 to 73 degrees. Let's see what flying looks like with this. Ooh. Right. Yeah, during flying we can drop below 45, but it is between 35 and 45, so it's gonna be some stutters because it's trying to load a lot of textures here. I would call this a pretty balanced preset that we've created here. Of course, if you want a little bit more FPS, you can just set everything to medium and you're gonna get between 50 and 60 FPS, I think, most of the time. But during flights, because it's trying to load all of these different islands and textures, we are seeing a lot of movement on the actual frame time. But once you're down on the ground doing most of the gameplay, it is going to stay locked at 45 FPS. Perhaps this preset is a good candidate to use with lossless scaling. We're probably going to be able to get up to 90. There is some artifacting, especially around the ship. Oh, let's actually land here. Can I land here? I want to see what it looks like around my character. Keep in mind, the artifacting you are going to see on this clip is going to be worse than what it is in real life. Let's see, around the head, actually not so bad. This is pretty good with lossless scaling. In terms of input latency, I can't really feel any. With lossless scaling, this outside of the capture card is actually hitting 90 FPS right now. There is going to be some artifacting, some fluidity around the character, but it's mostly very now. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. When you move really fast, the character is going to spasm out. This is not something that you can actually see in this big an effect when you're playing on the actual Steam Deck screen. But yeah, that's going to be for this update. I'm glad to see that the game is still running at a pretty good level on low and medium settings. You're still pretty much able to hit 60 FPS or at least above 50 FPS in most scenarios, even underwater. I do think there's been definitely some enhancements to the actual lighting around the character suit, the backpack, the multi-tool, and unfortunately I'm not able to showcase any of the other features, but it's still running pretty well on the Steam Deck. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more Steam Deck content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.